off camera and I straightened out my hair a little bit because this humidity has got my hair so frizzy. Like, oh my gosh, it just frizzes up as soon as I finish flat ironing it. Look at how long it's getting. It's like soon it's going to be all the way down to the part where they're gonna cast me for the Little Mermaid next. It's giving Cher. Is that what it's giving? Welcome back, or welcome to the channel if you're new. So today I am going to be sharing with you guys my spring summer no foundation routine. Also, let's talk about the elephant in the room. My plant right here is gone. I cannot stand having that. Actually, hold on so you guys can see. Yeah, my pictures are still up there. Hold on, I'm down here. My pictures are still up here and stuff. The plant is just looking like too full, so I need to buy another one of those green plants that I usually buy from Walmart. But I don't know how to take care of plants that need to be watered, so I don't know how that's gonna work. I need to find a fake green plant, but I just need a green plant for like spring and summer tutorials and stuff, because the brown one is just not working and this black one is not working either, but it's fine. It's better than having like the, you know, my favorite tones. Hi, back down here. Let's get started on this look before my hair gets too frizzy again. Let me get it a little closer so you guys can see. All right, so I am going to start off with primer first and then let it sit into the skin a little bit, and then we'll move on to the eyes. Lately, non-stop using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless mattifying primer with sunscreen, broad spectrum SPF 20, and with clay normal to oily skin. Now this is probably the only mattifying primer that has not dried my skin out. When you have dry skin, these mattifying primers, they can easily start peeling. I don't know if I like my hair right there like that. It's okay, I don't even care. I'm not even gonna worry about it. My skin gets oily in the T-zone, but it's still really dry, so anytime I go into something like matte, it peels. For the rest of the skin, I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Primer Serum Hydrating. Now, a really good primer for the summer would be like a hydrating primer, because to me this is more like a skincare type of product. It's not. Did I just get that on my skirt? Yes, I did just get that on my skirt. Oh, and the fact that it's pink, it's not heavy, so it really soaks into the skin and it just makes it really hydrating, and it's not like a glowy primer, and it does get a little tacky. Another thing you can do is set your primer in. I'm gonna use the Milani Make It Last 16-hour wear setting spray and just set the primer in. Oh, I really don't want to do this with my hair. While that stuff is just sitting into the skin, I'm going to move on to the eyes. The P. Louise base in the shade Rumor 3. When you're going in with a more neutral, natural type of look, go in with a base that's closer to your skin tone. It's a little bit more peachy tone, so it'll also help cancel any darkness. I'm going to stick to these two palettes, the Chic Glam Wonka Bar palette, because I love the neutral tones in here, I think. And then, well, I do know I love the neutral tones, but I think I'm gonna use that one. And then the Cara Beauty Enchanted Forest palette, maybe to like brighten it, so maybe the shades. This shade and this one. I don't want to tap it because again I got this white skirt on that just got a little something on it. You gotta wear your nice stuff after you do your makeup. You can of course use your bronzer as well, but since I use my bronzers on the face, I'd rather just use this for the eyes. A little of this shade right here on the outer part, and then that's it. No shimmer today. We're going straight in with a matte eyeshadow right here, pale nude, and just tap that right here. I don't want it to be too bright, so that's why I'm not cutting a crease or putting down like an eyeshadow primer. Oh, this pimple is like really bothering me. really bothering me. And I know like when I watch this video back, I'm gonna be like it's like, why didn't I do something about that? Because sometimes like that's the only thing I'm looking at when I rewatch my videos. I'm like, really? I have a couple of different concealers. One to spot conceal, because again we're not going in with like a liquid or wait a minute. We're not going in with a liquid or cream foundation, so I'm going to just spot conceal. I have 4 concealers that I'm going to recommend for under here, but for spot concealing, I would recommend like a thick, creamy concealer. I have the Marc Jacobs Accomplice Concealer in the shade Medium 39, and it's very close, you can see, to my skin tone. I'm just going to use the same brush I use for primer, and I'm also going to put it around here where I have this, not discoloration, but like a little bit of darkness in this area. You see how like when I blend that out, it's just so close to my skin tone, so it's not that noticeable. If you do what I do, which is what I'm going to do towards the end, and that's, you know, cover up my acne marks with eyeliner, because that's what I do nowadays to look like a beauty mark, you can go ahead and do that. But if you don't, then just take your concealer again and just spot conceal like this really big pimple right there. And then of course right here where I have a lot of acne now because of all of that soda that I was drinking last week. Won't do that again. I don't think this one is available anymore, but like I said, a thick, creamy one, I would recommend like a pot concealer. For liquid concealers under the eyes, I have 4 right here that I would recommend. I don't think one of them is available anymore. I think the other 3 are, but anyway, let's just start with the high end and get that out of the way. The Marc Jacobs Extra Shot Caffeine Concealer and Foundation in the shade Medium 280. This is the one I use. Full coverage, lasts a good while because it does have a more matte finish. Matte concealers last a little bit longer than liquid concealers, and they also crease a little less. Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Long Wear Concealer in the shade 2.5W. Like I mentioned in that other video, if you want something long lasting, go for things that say long wear, because they usually do last a good while. The Wet n Wild Mega Last Incognito All Day Full Coverage Concealer in the shade Medium Honey. This is so underrated. I don't hear anyone talking about it, and when Wet n Wild had their old concealer in that like that square type of tube, had similar packaging, but again it was more square, everyone used to talk about that. This concealer is much better than that other one, and they have a much better shade range for this one as well. Like I love this honey shade because it looks more like a yellow tone. This newish one, it's newer, but it's not that new anymore because I already did a video on it. The Black Radiance True Complexion Long Wear Concealer. I don't know the shade name because they usually don't come with shade names unless you get the packaging or whatever. I did buy this at Walmart. Unfortunately, this is the lightest shade, so not too many different skin tones could rock the Black Radiance concealer, but still really great. And if you can, I would recommend it. And look at that doe foot applicator, everything. The Wet n Wild and the Laura Mercier both have flat applicators. They look exactly like, oh my gosh, like I just thought about it. It's like if they look exactly like, how am I gonna know which top went to which? Anyway, the Marc Jacobs, I think this one is a doe foot. I love these applicators. Give me a doe foot or give me a flat applicator, and that is like a perfect concealer. Now, which concealer am I gonna wear today? I think I'm just gonna use a combination of the Black Radiance and the Wet n Wild. Since the Black Radiance is lighter and I think it's a little bit light on me, I'm just gonna go in with this in the inner corner. So right here, you see that? And it's very liquidy, so let it dry down a little bit and you should be good to go. And then the Wet n Wild, it looks good, really good with the Laura Mercier powder. I don't have that today because I'm going to use the Maybelline powder instead. But the Laura Mercier Honey Powder Translucent, these are like perfect color combinations. For cream bronzer, I have the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer in the shade Honey Drip. For the summertime especially, I would recommend a matte bronzer. Anything that you can get that's matte on your skin will last a lot longer than a dewy one. So I know they just came out with a luminous one. If you want your makeup to last, go for this one because it's more of like a matte finish, which keeps reminding me about my Milk makeup bronzer that I'm so sad I can't even use because the shade is just so damn good. Oh no, I need to blend out my concealer first before I do the nose, so I'm just going to do the face first. In here and use this, and I use a lot of it because the shade is just a little too light for me. I'm not using that putty blush today, the e.l.f. one, because it has more of an orange tone and I want more of a pinky tone today. That's another one that I would recommend for like blush, is their putty blush, because it has more of a matte finish. I think they also just came out with luminous blushes as well, but I don't like luminous blushes no matter what weather we're having outside. I think the shade does show up a lot better because it's directly on my skin tone, except instead of like on a foundation. I'm gonna blend out this concealer before it dries out and I can't blend it out. I'm going to be using my Japanese sponge, which matches my little, is this a hibiscus flower? I can't remember. I've had this necklace for a long time. I should go wet my sponge, but I don't feel like getting up, so I'm just gonna use this spray to help me wet it. It's not going to be its true size that it gets to because, again, it's not underwater. I remember I used to have this Japanese sponge a long time ago from Walmart. And then they had stopped selling Japanese at one point. And now I do see some of the makeup tools are back. You want to take it on the side of the nose since we didn't use foundation and just, you know, take it around here. And that's why I said that you're not going to need to like spot conceal down below. And look at how good that concealer looks. I do have a little bit of darkness right there, so I think I might use a little bit, or I might just leave it alone. And then take it down the nose. Going to go back in with the brush that has the contour on, and we're going to finish contouring down the side of the nose, and that'll also help cover up any other places that you did not apply any product. Okay. Go in with this blush, and this is the Wonka blush. I just love this blush, and especially because it's going more so on bare skin, it's gonna push that pH balance out even further. I talked about it before when I reviewed this collection, and it helps to adjust to your skin tone so you can have like the perfect type of pink blush. I'm telling you, ever since I used this blush, I have just not wanted to put it down. I really hope more brands come out with blushes that are like this, that have like that type of chemical balance in there that could really perfect the shade for your skin tone, because I have not found a better blush shade, like a pinky tone blush for my skin tone. And I am going to apply a very generous amount because I am not going to apply powder blush. I don't apply powder blush when I use most of my cream blushes anymore because I just feel like they're pigmented enough. Go back in with our sponge and just help blend these products together. You can go ahead and go in with a liquid or cream blush. If you have oily skin, I would probably recommend more so a liquid blush because liquid blushes usually dry down. A cream blush will like stay creamy and kind of separate or get oily through the day, make your skin extra oily. But I'm just going to go in with a powder highlighter instead today. Maybelline Fit Me powder in a shade light medium 20. Just don't like the shade of it, which is why it's only going under the eyes. Okay, and then you can also apply some down the bridge of the nose. Let it sit for a little while. For the rest of the face to set, and this is only going to lightly set, I'm going to use the Maybelline Superstay Powder Foundation in a shade 312. I know that this is a foundation, but if you lightly set it using a loose brush, I was gonna say a loose fiber brush, a loose brush like the Japanese one for an example, it won't set it as a foundation. It'll just set it lightly as like a regular powder. Don't go in with a more packing powder brush. Go in with a loose one so it'll lightly set it. The heck? Now that the skin has been lightly set, see how light it is? It's light and airy. There's still like dewy parts to the skin. It just means that we did not heavily set it. So you can still use a powder foundation that can add coverage where it's needed. But as long as it's not a cream or liquid powder foundation in general that will cause a lot of cakiness or heaviness during the summer months when it's hot. For powder bronzer, I'm just going to use the Morphe Glamour Bronze Trailblazer. Now, if you don't want to go in with too many products, you can also opt for a deeper bronzer. And if you do the deeper bronzer like cream shade, then you don't have to go in with a powder bronzer. I was going to do that, but like I said, because I wanted to use a more matte bronzer, like the e.l.f. one, that one is too light, and I like a deep contour, a deep bronze look that can really scope me out. I was at Target one day and I was like, why is it so hard? I was in the makeup section and I was looking at my makeup in the mirror and I was like, damn, that's like really harsh. I'm not going outside no more with a strong like contour on my face like that again. I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty highlighter in the shade Mean Money and Hustler Baby. And just a little bit of this. And again, if you have oily skin, stay away from like the liquid and cream. For nose contour, I'm going to go in with the Makeup Forever powder sculpting powder in the shade S116. I'm trying to work on my like nose contouring because again I suck at contouring the nose. So for lips today, LA Girl Shockwave Nude Lip Liner in a shade Gingerbread and the About Face Matte Lip Fix in a shade Clockwork. I would just love if LA Girl came out with one shade, not 2 or 3 shades, but one shade deeper than this, and this could probably be a great dupe for the KKW one. About Face one just in the center, because this one has more of a yellow tone. Now that that is set in, let's go ahead and do some eyeliner, and I'm just going to use my Tom Ford eyeliner just to wing this out. Let me try to even this out. All right. Ooh! Who knew that today would be the day that I would get that very even? And if I don't get it even, it will come out looking really bad because of course I'm not wearing like any eyeshadow that can really help cover that up. I cannot believe how even I just got both of those. Like I said in my other video that I did, that Temu and Shein haul, I was talking about how I started watching Baywatch because Pluto TV. Where's that bump at? Pluto TV has Baywatch on their streaming service and they have it all day, every day. They gave it its own channel, and I've been getting into Baywatch Hawaii, and it is pretty good. Of course it's not as good as the original Baywatch, but I like that as well. With Jason Momoa. I'm gonna do the Milk Makeup Kush Mascara, probably this shade right here, and a little bit of this one. For lashes, I'm going to go in with these dramatic ones from Ioni. These are the Dia de los Muertos lashes in the style Wispy Dramatic Flare, and they're so nice. I just went ahead and put on the lashes. I did add a little bit of inner corner highlight, just a little bit, because I went in with the liner and I don't know why I brought it down so far, but anyway, I shouldn't have done that, so I just went in with a little bit. Hopefully you can't even tell because that was not the vibe. I went in with a little bit of the Juvia's Place Nubian Earth Nubian Sand lipstick because the other ones was just a little too dark, the lip liner, so I just wanted to brighten it a little bit. And then I went off camera and I straightened out my hair. This humidity has got my hair so frizzy, like, oh my gosh, it just frizzes up as soon as I finish flat ironing it. And look at how long it's getting. It's like soon it's going to be all the way down to the part where they're gonna cast me for the Little Mermaid next. it's giving Cher. Is that what it's giving? My hair is getting so long, but anyway. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this video was helpful. Let me get in a little bit closer so we can see how, this looks. You can see all of my dots. My earrings are still here. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.